Okay, so you can't talk about it at work. You can't talk about it with some of your friends, and you probably can't even talk about it when your family gathers for the holidays. But today, I am going to brave the landscape and push through all the social anxiety. I am going to talk about one of the most taboo subjects in our society today. I am going to talk about politics in Virginia and what they look like here in Virginia's mountain and valley areas.
Good luck.
Now, I know there is no doubt you are not going to want to miss out on that. But before I throw myself to the wolves, let's go ahead and get started right now. Hi, my name's Stefan, and along with my wife Leslie, as realtors, we get phone calls, emails, and texts all the time from folks just like you who are looking to sell a home or to purchase a home, and we absolutely love to help those folks when they call. So it doesn't matter whether you're looking to move in 9 days, 90 days, whatever the case. Call us, text us, email us, and we will be happy to help you sell your home or purchase a home here in our beautiful mountains and valleys. And by the way, if you like our videos and you like learning more about the real estate information here, but not just that, but a lot of the fun things we do and some of the adventures we go on here, showing you more about our beautiful mountains and valleys, then I encourage you to click on that subscribe button and touch that bell icon so you can be notified whenever one of our videos comes out, and you can keep up to date with all the cool real estate market and all the cool things here in Virginia's mountains and valleys. Now, as I said earlier, I want to talk about politics in Virginia, and more specifically, the politics here in our mountains and valleys. Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative, red or blue. You know, many times people want to know more about this topic, so I figured I'd help out. So, in this video, I am going to present the data about our area, and I am not taking sides. What, you think I'm crazy? Now, after you see the data, I'll also share some additional information about the area as well, and you can be the judge and decide for yourself if this is a place for you. Hint, there is a place for you. Now, hang with me for a couple of minutes. It won't be long, so what I want to do, though, is I want to give a lay of the land regarding the general political landscape here in Virginia. Now, I promise, as a former teacher, this won't be just a civics lesson. So hang in there through the data part, and we'll find out a lot more at the end. So, to start with, let's just talk a little bit about our Virginia government in general before narrowing into the area. So let's start right at the top with our governor. Our current governor in Virginia is Glenn Youngkin. He is a Republican who was elected in 2021. Now in Virginia, governors serve 4-year terms, but they cannot be consecutive terms. So if an individual wishes, he or she can run for election again after sitting out a 4-year term. Now, I know this is a very busy graphic, very busy, but I wanted to give you an idea of the changes in the office of governor. If you look at the center row, you can see the governors who served over the past 40 years. As you can see, there have been both Democrat and Republican governors in Virginia, with Democratic governors occupying the office more frequently than Republicans. Now, when you look at the other rows, the top rows represent counties here in our local area, and the bottom rows represent the independent cities here in our local area in Virginia. Now, these rows give us an idea about the voting habits of the citizens of each of the counties or the cities. Now, I'll take just a little bit of time to tell you more about that later, but right now I just want to take a quick look at this information so it gives us an idea of how each county voted for the position of governor over the past 40 years. So, let's move on to the individuals who represent us in Washington. The two senators currently representing Virginia are Democrats Mark Warner and Tim Kaine. Now, if those names already look familiar, it's because you've already seen both of their names on the previous slide. As governors of Virginia, Mark is currently in his 3rd term and Tim is in his 2nd term. Now, continuing on, Virginia has 11 congressional districts. Now, of those 11 congressional districts, there are 11 representatives that go to Washington, D.C., 6 of which are currently Democrat and 5 are Republican. But now let's take a little more closer look here in our area. The districts in our immediate area here are districts 5, 6, and a very small piece of the 7th. The 5th district is represented, and the 5th district and the 6th district are represented by Republicans. The 7th district is represented by a Democrat. Now, so far you've seen that the state of Virginia is fairly equally divided between Republican and Democratic representatives. And this continues as we look at the state house as well. Virginia has 40 state senators, with 21 of them currently being Democrats. Additionally, the Virginia House of Delegates has 100 members, with Democrats holding 51 of those positions. Now, there's a Republican lieutenant governor, of course, as well as the Republican governor, but the lieutenant governor here in Virginia and the governor, they are elected separately. So it is possible to have a governor and a lieutenant governor from opposing parties. Now, in looking at all of the data here in our civics lesson, you can see that Virginia is fairly politically well balanced, but that it leans a little toward the left. I mean, we got Republican governor, Democratic Senate and House, 6 Democrats, 5 Republican U.S. representatives, 2 senators. They're both Democrats. Like I say, Virginia is fairly well represented, but it is currently leaning to the left. So, how does this affect our area here in Virginia's mountains and valleys? Well, one of the ways to explain our area is by taking a look at the 2000 presidential election map. Now, as you can see, there's a lot of red on the map, but much of the red is in the more rural areas of Virginia. Likewise, although the blue on the map is not as large geographically, it is centered predominantly around larger cities and towns like Portsmouth, Richmond, Norfolk, and of course all of the larger cities in the Northern Virginia area. Now, if you've ever looked at an election map on election night, you'll see this type of rural versus urban color scheme is very common across much of the United States. So, we all know that politics can be felt most at the local level. So, what's it look like here in our area? Well, here is our areas with their election result from 2020 as well. And as you can see, our area is very similar to the rest of Virginia and the United States in regards to the rural and the urban voting habits. For example, 4 out of 5 counties voted Republican. Now, in the red counties, Republican voters outpaced Democratic voters by nearly 3-1 in Augusta County, for example. And voters in the lone blue county of Albemarle outpaced Republican voters by 2-1. Now, let's take a look at 6 of Virginia's 38 independent cities. As you can see, the tables were turned here with citizens in 4 out of 6 cities voting for Joe Biden in the last election. The strongest blue city was Charlottesville, voting nearly 9 times out of 10 in a Democratic manner. Likewise, the 3 other blue cities voted substantially blue as well. Of the 2 cities whose residents voted red, Buena Vista led the way with a 2-1 ratio of Republican to Democrat voters. So that was the 2020 election. But is this always the case? Well, I always like to take a look at history to see trends over time. That's why I created another busy slide, but it's a very helpful slide that is similar to the other one that you saw earlier. This graphic shows nearly 40 years of data on how Virginians in these counties and cities voted for president. Now, as you can see, the legend below shows the degree to which they voted Democrat or Republican. But if you look at that middle row again, which separates the counties on the top and the cities on the bottom, you'll see the individual who was president. The red or blue highlighted behind their name illustrates how Virginians voted in these elections. So as you can see, 2024 was the most recent time that Virginia chose a Republican candidate for president. Since 2008, Virginia has leaned left in presidential elections. And now, if you prefer a more conservative area, the Shenandoah Valley has a long track record of voting for Republican candidates. Nelson County is interesting in that it is very much a swing county, alternating from Republican to Democrat. As you can see, Albemarle County flipped in 2004 from red to blue and has remained that way. Now, when it comes to the cities of Harrisonburg and Stanton, both of them flipped from red to blue in 2008. Meanwhile, Buena Vista did the opposite and flipped from blue to red beginning back in 2000. Waynesboro has always been a more moderately conservative city, and Lexington has been an increasingly liberal community. Charlottesville has remained blue and continues to grow more deeply blue with a strong liberal influence. So what's the point? Well, the point's this. When it comes to politics, you have the choice of being in an area that suits your preferences. This small area runs the spectrum of choices from deep blue to deep red, and it also includes more moderate areas as well. Simply put, if politics is something that is important to you and something that you consider in looking for a place to live, you will find it here. Voices from red to blue are all heard and listened to in the area. There's tons of social diversity and progressive thinking in places like Charlottesville, Albemarle County, and Lexington. On the other side of the coin, there's a more conservative mindset and lifestyle in places like Augusta County, Rockingham County, and Waynesboro. So, regardless of your political leaning, Virginia offers so much for its residents. Of course, I'm partial to our beautiful mountains and valleys, which are home to some of the best and most beautiful places on earth, I think. But it's not just about the beauty and the views. Much of Virginia, including our area here, is a growing and economically thriving place that shows consistent growth year after year. Now, the area is developing, but it's being done in a responsible manner so as not to lose the beauty that surrounds us. Additionally, according to worldpopulationreview.com, Virginia ranks as the 15th most free state in the United States. Now, this freedom is one reason that many businesses come to Virginia. Forbes magazine ranked Virginia as the best state for businesses in 2021, and it was the second best in 2023. Forbes also ranked Virginia as number 16 as one of the best states in which to start a business in 2024, just this year. Now, there are other sources that rank Virginia, and they rank Virginia very high in this category as well. So because Virginia is business friendly, it has created an incredibly strong economy that continues to grow. Of the 5 counties and the 6 cities that I've shared with you today, you'll see national brand companies as well as local ones that employ tens of thousands of people. Now, while there is a strong agrarian culture in our area that features many agribusiness jobs, there are also many information technology and professional service employers as well. Also, some of the most well-known brands in the world can be found employing thousands of Virginia residents in manufacturing, transportation, and logistics careers. Additionally, this area has multiple colleges and universities that provide highly rated and distinguished educational training and degrees while also offering thousands of careers and educations as well. And now inflation and the cost of living has gone up everywhere in the past several years. But that's another nice thing about living in Virginia's mountains and valleys. With the exception of the Charlottesville area, which is just slightly over the national average, most of the area has a cost of living that is less than most of the United States. The cost of housing is less than the rest of the United States as well, which is an enormous factor affecting the cost of living. Now, I could continue talking for hours, and I do say a lot more in many of my other videos about the cost of living, economic opportunities, the beauty of the area, and so on and so forth. But I've shared all of this to say this to you. There's a place for you in Virginia. Virginia's mountains and valleys residents have so much, and it's truly an amazing place to live for so many reasons. Now, we're not perfect. And there's some things that you'll like, and there's probably some things you won't. But in the end, the vast majority of people in our area are wonderful people who care about each other and their community. There are people who are willing to lend a hand. There are people that are willing to help when needed. Now, many of them are not only your neighbors, but they're your friends as well. I could tell you story after story about people I know and that I've met that have helped me in so many ways. Additionally, I've had the opportunity to help others as well, and in both cases, I've made not only new neighbors, but new friends as well. Now, if you're one of my neighbors here in Virginia's beautiful mountains and valleys, or if you're thinking about becoming my neighbor, Leslie and I are always available to help, whether you're selling a home or purchasing a home, whether you're moving across town or across the country. Leslie and I are here to help you make your move what you want it to be. So please, don't hesitate to call us, text us, or email us, like so many people have already done, and we will be happy to help you too. So, to my Republican friends, and my Democrat friends, my liberal friends, and my conservative friends, or maybe I should just say to my Virginia friends, until next time, I'll see you around town.